All right, let's talk about the Eagles defense, which has been bad. It's been bad. I mean, it's just, there's no getting around it. If we look at some defensive EPA stats real quick, 28th in total defensive EPA this season, 26th in dropback, and then 28th in run defense. So it's not even like they're, okay in one area. No, they've been bad across the board, bottom 5 overall. What's going on? What's the issue here? I actually want to start off talking about the running game, which I know, it's me. You think I'm only caring about the passing game? That's what I'm more interested in usually, but the running game is still obviously a very important aspect of football, and the Eagles do something we've seen plenty of teams start to do, which is almost by design, make sure they can defend the pass better by allowing stuff through the ground, where you're looking at, on paper, you might be wondering, wait a second, usually you can't block everybody, right? Usually there is going to be an unblocked player, and that's something you have to navigate as an offense. Well, yes, that is usually the case, because usually teams don't play two safety deep, but, with teams more and more playing a lot of two safety deep coverages, that means it leaves you open in the running game. As long as the Giants can block everybody, they should be okay. Watch that Philadelphia linebacker, the one who I've circled. Watch what he's going to do on this play. He's going to move in and actually do a pretty good job on this one. That's Shaquille Leonard, the guy that they added from the Colts. He is able to make the tackle, but they still gain 5 yards. And that's kind of the issue, is even if a defender comes in and makes a good play, you're by design giving up stuff through the ground. And okay, well, that's your scheme. That's your strategy. However, even with that, there's moments where it's like, it's not even just the scheme that's an issue. Like here, it's a goal line scenario, not goal line scenario, but inside the 10 scenario on a 3rd and 3. So it's not quite like you're having two players way further back. You see the blocking concept. The edge rusher on the bottom of the screen for Philadelphia is going to be unblocked. Watch as the Giants hand the ball off. And right here, okay, you have an edge rusher who can come in and try and make a play. That's Josh Sweat, who's doing a fine job on this play, but there's a huge running lane right up the middle. So for Sweat, how is he supposed to have time to get over and make something happen? As you see, it's going to end up as a relatively easy touchdown for Saquon Barkley. And again, it's not like the Giants' offensive line is, the Philadelphia Eagles' offensive line, right? So when you're getting those kind of openings, and you're also kind of by design giving up stuff through the ground, it's an issue. And I'm not saying that, I think it's exactly a personnel issue for the Eagles, but it's enough of a personnel issue and the scheming thing that's becoming a problem. That being said, the run defense wasn't overly great last year, largely due to the same thing. They intentionally put resources, further down the field to defend the pass. But if you're going to do that, you have to be good at defending the pass, right? It's the Chargers thing, where with Brandon Staley, they did the same thing. I mean, if you hate Brandon Staley, you should hate the Eagles defense, because they do the exact same thing. But there's just too many things like this where, okay, Saquon Barkley on this play, it's a 3rd down and 4, and let's be honest, it's the Giants. They want to throw to Saquon Barkley as much as possible, right? Despite that, when Tyrod Taylor takes the snap, he's going to flip the ball to Barkley. He underthrows it, and it isn't a catch, but there was no one on Barkley. No one picked up Barkley, and I'm not sure whose job it was for, to pick up Barkley on that play. It's a little bit of a exotic look by the Eagles. I'm not exactly sure what they were doing, but the reality is you have to cover the halfback, especially when it's the Giants, and that's kind of like that's their player, right? Like that's like losing Travis Kelce when you're playing the Chiefs, right? It's losing Keenan Allen when you're playing the Chargers. Like these are the types of guys like you have to make sure you're focused on, and you just can't be. There's just too many of these blown coverage plays. This one's going to be another one where it's 3rd down and 1. And in fairness, I will say running a play action here is a pretty clever idea by the Giants. You're expecting a running play on 3rd and 1, but I think they feel like they'll go for it if they don't convert here. So let's run a play action, see if we can get more than just the 1 yard. I like it. Good, tip of the cap to the Giants on this one. That being said, when this play begins, it's going to be at this point that the tight end here for the Giants, is now going to get out of his break. This is, of course, Darren Waller, the great tight end for the Giants. Obviously had many good years for the Raiders. Again, someone you probably should be paying attention to. He started off blocking, and it's one of those things where it is kind of an understandable mistake. Okay, you fell for the run fake. He was started off blocking. But at a certain point, you can't keep making these mistakes. You can make, 1 or 2 a game you can understand, right? Football, it's hard. You get fooled sometimes. But I mean, watch how open Waller got on that play. And, quite frankly, I mean, they're very lucky that was not a great throw from Taylor. Now, there was a safety deep, so I don't know if it's a touchdown, but it, could have been a touchdown on that play. So lucky for it to not be a great throw. But Eagles defense, a couple of breaks in a row. I mean, not in a row. In a row in this video. Obviously, they weren't back-to-back in the actual game. But these things can't be happening. And also something like this, I mean, once the book gets out, that you kind of do your thing. You kind of, you play, your coverage. This one is going to be, actually the graphic is wrong. It says cover 3. It's actually cover 4, which again is what the Eagles like to do. And you see the way this concept is designed to work is you have a receiver essentially trying to take away the corner who is deep towards the, corner of the screen, on the top of the screen. You then have Darius Slayton running a route that's going to just essentially be designed to try and isolate Reed Blankenship one-on-one, which means that, that's a favorable matchup, right? Blankenship, who, I like as a safety. I think he's a good safety, but he's a safety, and you're getting maybe your best receiver on a safety. That's always a good thing you can do if you're, playing a defense. Watch as when Tyrod Taylor takes the snap, he's going to look down the field. He eventually fires down the field, and you see just how open this is because the Giants were able to scheme up, a favorable matchup. And these are the kind of things that, for the Eagles, when you run a predictable defense, which they do, well, these are the kind of things that can happen. So while you're putting a ton of resources down the field, it's not really working because teams know how to counter it. As you see, it's, a big pass to Darius Slayton. They're able to get a touchdown that got them right back in that football game. To me, this is the kind of thing where, listen, I'm an analytics guy, right? If you follow this channel, I love analytics. What did the analytics say? Well, 2 safety deep coverages, cover 2 and cover 4. Those are great coverages. Run those all the time. Okay, cool. So that makes sense. That's the best coverage you can run in the NFL. Doesn't mean it's the only coverage you should run. To me, Cleveland was the perfect example of this, where they tried doing that. They tried doing their 2 safety deep coverages every single play. They realized, wait, then teams know how to play against us. So they started only doing it. They started making an effort to do it a lot, but not have that be the only thing they do. Do enough other stuff that teams don't just straight up know what's coming. I'm going to be honest, I am a big don't blame the coaches, blame the players guy. I think, it's so much easier to blame the coaches than it is to blame the players. At the end of the day, the players are the ones on the field. And, at the end of the day, it is true that, certain Philadelphia Eagles players do still have to play better, right? There still are moments of, the older veteran corners on the outside getting burned. That is still something that's happening, specifically with Bradbury this season, I feel like. But there is a real coaching issue here, and honestly, I kind of understand why they went with Patricia to try, because, for all his faults, he does have a history of, mixing plays up and fooling, opposing quarterbacks. The issue is he sometimes gets too, he puts too much effort onto his corners, and, there's a lot of issues with Patricia, but, he has had success with that stuff in the past. I actually, kind of really looking at the evaluation, really looking at the film and all this, I kind of understand why you would do that. Is it fixable? Yeah, that's the thing. That's the weird thing about the Eagles. I could see their defense getting marginally better with a coaching change. And, while it still has its issues now, and they're still having these issues now with Patricia, maybe he stops doing this as much. I could see it taking a step up. And that's what's maybe exciting if you're an Eagles fan. But right now, it's just not working. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.